The QuitByHealing approach is different from the NoFap approach. I know that NoFap has worked for a lot of people. It's done a lot of good things for people, but I also know that loads of people struggle with the NoFap approach. QuitByHealing is a different approach, and it's different in many ways, but one major difference is this. One of the problems that can happen with the NoFap approach is that it essentially adds more shame and more like this is forbidden onto the topic of porn and sex and masturbation. Now, a lot of guys fall into a porn addiction because there is something lacking in their lives when it comes to intimacy and sexual fulfillment. A lot of guys have a lot of guilt and shame, not only when it comes to their porn use, yeah, sure, you feel bad about that, but also you might have really low self-esteem. You might have shame and negative associations, bad feelings when it comes to the whole topic of like dating and women. A lot of guys are, like I was when I was younger, in a struggle when it comes to their love life, right? All the memories I had when I was younger of trying to flirt with women, trying to get a girlfriend, trying to interact, it was always painful. It was always terrible. It made me feel horrible. It made me feel completely unlovable and undesirable. And so there's all this pain, all this emotional pain and baggage and shame. And porn is a way to deal with that. It's almost like taking a painkiller, taking something to numb the pain. Now, of course, porn has lots of negative consequences, and it totally makes sense that you want to quit. And also, of course, most guys always masturbate to porn. So there's this connection between masturbation, which is the only kind of sex you have, and porn. With NoFap, the idea is basically you just quit completely, right? You don't look at any kind of sexual imagery, you don't masturbate, you don't orgasm, you just go cold turkey on it all. The problem is that this doesn't do anything to address the underlying pain. So if you fall into the habit, because you have all this pain, all this shame, all this emotional baggage, and it's like, uh-oh, all this shit is coming up, I can't take my painkiller anymore, and there's no tool. I just have to like sit here and endure it. Some guys get through that, many don't. Also, it can make the whole thing even worse, because now you feel like everything sexual is somehow dangerous, right? Any kind of sexy picture on the internet is, oh my God, it's terrible. It's going to make me relapse. And you even see in the NoFap community how far it goes. Like some guys are worried about, oh, am I breaking my streak if I see my girlfriend naked? So you can see that the whole topic of sex and sexuality and masturbation and orgasm becomes like this forbidden thing that you have to stay away from. And it's just adding even more negativity and even more tension to this whole thing. And this is why so many guys are in a constant cycle of relapsing. It's like you build up all this pressure of, I'm trying not to do it, I'm trying not to think about it, all these feelings come up, I can't handle it anymore, and then you relapse and you feel terrible and you start all over again, and it just keeps happening because you have no way to deal with all these feelings and all the underlying problems. QuitByHealing says that first of all, porn and masturbation are two separate things. And you need to quit porn. That's the thing that's doing most of the damage. If you quit porn and you still masturbate, don't worry about it. You can solve the masturbation problem later. I have a YouTube video that explains this in more detail. And secondly, the healing process is important. You need to gain emotional mastery and sexual mastery. You need to become someone who has a healed sexuality. And that also means that you have to have a positive self-image. You have to become comfortable with everything around sex and sexuality. Once you fully heal this part of yourself, you will find that porn is completely uninteresting to you. And that is much better than trying to stop yourself from doing it for the rest of your life.